Hi everyone, I am so excited to be speaking to Nicole Baart, author, I can't speak today, author Nicole Baart, and her book, Little Broken Things, comes out tomorrow. And she has the physical copy of it, and I am so happy to be talking to you today. I got to read the ebook before it came out, and that always makes me feel so special, Nicole. I just have to tell you.
Yeah. I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, that was kind of like a tongue twister for me. Like, I can't really talk right now, but I've got a lot going on. You know, we get the holidays, and, you know. So, anyway, this book is crazy. Okay, that's the only thing I can think of to describe it, is that it is crazy. I have never read a book like it, and I'm so happy that I got to read your book. And now I want to go back and read all your other books, because this was the first one of yours that I read. But I read a lot of suspense, and I have to tell you, your way of building suspense is so different than anybody else I've ever, like any other book I've ever read, because okay, I'm used to it building through a chapter and then, boom, it hits you at the end of the chapter, right? But that's not how you write. Yours is like, it's in the middle. It's in the middle of the chapter. And I find myself, because I'm a fast reader, and I'll get to the end and be like, I missed it. And then I go back and I'm like, oh my God, there it is. Like, it's crazy. So if you are reading this book tomorrow, when it comes out, read every word, because she hides it in there. It is in there, okay? I mean, is that really intentional, or does that just come out when you're writing?
You know, it is intentional. I love suspense. I love thrillers. I love mysteries. But I don't know if it's an age thing or what, as I get older, I really struggle with some of the ones that are really heavy or very gory or super violent. I don't necessarily like to read those. I guess I'm getting more sensitive in my old age, but I want to write, I want to write stories that are intense and captivating and drag, my readers along at a quick pace, but that also have a softness to them and that show a character arc. Characters are always going to be more important to me than plot, because I love people, and I love picking them apart and figuring out who they are and why they tick and why they make the decisions that they make. So I think that comes out in my books.
Oh, definitely. And I'm the same way. As I get older, I don't want details of things. I'm not really in for that. But what I loved about, like I said, in the middle of these chapters was like this little snippet of like information about the person, and it could be, and the way you wrote, like the wording, and I don't want to give anything away, so I'm trying to talk around it, okay?
Yeah.
But for every character, it was like they had this little quirk, and then you find out, like, halfway through, and you have this like sentence, and you're like, that's why they're like that. Like,
yes.
Like there's always a reason. It's not just, they're this way because they're just weird. That is not the reason. It's always a very good reason for exactly what's going on. And there's a lot going on. Okay. So, but you drop it like first page, first chapter. It's like, boom, there's this girl, and she's being handed to her sister. And, right away, I had started the book, and I was going to go do something. I don't even remember what, a couple days ago. And I was like, I can't read the first. Like, you had me sitting down for an extra half an hour, because I was like, I thought, some books start off with the description, that's in this town, and it's all this, and you like kind of set you up. And then I go back. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that at all.
Good. That was intentional.
That was intentional, and that's hard to do. I read a lot of books, and that is hard to do, to catch you on that first chapter. That you're like, I don't want to get up. Usually, I'm like, okay, well, I've got the setting. It's all nice. It's all, we'll see what happens. Yeah. It was like, no, you have to sit there right away. But there's a coincidence here. The little girl's name, we know her as Lucy through the book, but her real name is Everly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my son that's going to be watching this, because he's going to be editing this, and he had his wife was pregnant, and he had a gender reveal this weekend. And if it would have been a girl, it would have been Everly.
No way.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's not. It's a boy. But it's his first boy. He has 2 girls, and then they found out they're having a boy, so he's very, very excited. Wow. But when I was reading
That's
it,
fantastic.
I know, and I was reading it, and then he told me that name, and I'm like, wait, is that a common name that I never, like, when you said it, I was like, oh, that's interesting, and then you used it, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe that's becoming popular.
My readers actually picked that name. When I was writing the book, I was really struggling with what to name that character. I don't know, I just wanted it to be meaningful somehow. So I was talking about that with my readers online one day. I mentioned on Twitter, I think, that I was struggling. And somebody said, hey, let us name your character. So when I was writing the book, like 2 years ago, I put out a couple of social media posts inviting people to suggest names. And they did. And then once we narrowed it down to a couple of them, we let them vote, and my readers picked Everly. And they picked Lucy, too. So
I really think it's one of those names that's like trending or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so too.
I think it's like that because I know how he picks names, so I think it's like a trending name. And they're Southern, so they live in Texas. So I was like, and his wife is from Georgia, so she likes very Southern names. So I don't know if it's that either, but
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I loved, like we were talking about before, I love the relationship of the sisters. I don't have a sister, but do you have a sister?
I don't. No,
I don't. So
just me and my brother.
Yeah, but do you have daughters? Do you have? I know you have 5 children.
I do. I do have a daughter now. She joined our family 4 years ago, and she was 6 years old when she came. So she was really the inspiration for this book. Our daughter, and her name is Eve. Ironically, we have Emily and we have Eve.
Yes.
But yeah, she came home as this fully formed little 6-year-old. We knew that she had some pretty severe medical needs. Eve swallowed battery acid when she was a little girl in Liberia and burned out her esophagus. So we were completely prepared for all of her medical needs, and we were ready to support her educationally. And we had read all the books. We were so ready for this little girl, but there were some emotional things that we were really not prepared for. And as we were working through that, and as we were trying to become a family with this little 6-year-old girl, I had a dream one night that I was out on a gravel road. I live in rural Iowa, in a small town, so gravel roads are everywhere.
Right.
And I had this dream that I came across an accident on a gravel road, and there was a woman in the front seat of the car, and she said, you have to help her, you have to help her. And when I opened up the back door, there was this child who was wrapped up in a blanket in the back of a car. This is a dream, keep in mind.
Right.
But when I peeled back the blanket and saw her face, it was my daughter. It was Eve. And that image stayed with me, and it stuck with me, and it kept growing until I knew I had to write a story about it. So Everly is actually wrapped in a blanket in the backseat of a car, and that just came directly out of a dream. But I think that was kind of my subconscious dealing with becoming a mother to this little girl and trying to figure out where I fit. And we know who her birth mother was. We know her maternal grandmother, and we know the woman who acted as her mother for the first 6 years of her life. So taking all of those relationships and trying to figure out where I fit in the midst of that while honoring those other women is the backbone of Little Broken Things.
And that, for everybody who's going to be reading this book, I mean, it makes so much sense now, But I loved the relationship between Quinn and Nora because my daughters are 4 years apart. So there's a little bit of an age difference compared to some of my other children. But they are closer. But there were years, they kind of, it changes. They're in their 20s now. So, of course, there were times. But I used to always hear them say, like if somebody were to mock one of them or do something, like even if they weren't on speed, like say they were mad at each other or something, like nobody can come between the two of them. Like, like especially my older daughter, I know she feels that way for my younger daughter. And, and it's not a relationship I had, so it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch the two of them. And I felt, a lot of the book, I felt like I was Liz kind of watching, my daughters, because I connected with her character so well, in some ways. Some ways, But it was just so much fun. That's what I want to tell everybody, is this book is just fun, okay? Because it's suspenseful, but it's fun because you're unraveling, like, everybody's story, that by the end, it all just makes sense. And you're like, you're thinking, how are these people going to make sense? And then it just does. I mean, you know how to tell a beautiful story.
Thank you. That means the world to me.
Yeah, and I was looking through, because when I went on your author page, I was looking through your other books, and you have written some books within the last couple of years. And I mean, how difficult is that? You're a mom. You have 5 children. Okay, 4 of them are, I guess, are boys, right?
Yes, I'm a mother of 4 boys.
What is the oldest one's age?
I have 2 14-year-olds.
Okay.
They're what do you call them? Irish twins, I think somebody told me what they are. Yes. So my oldest, Joseph, will turn 15 at the end of December. And then I have 2 14-year-olds, an 11-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 7-year-old.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
they're busy.
Yeah, and you're such an inspiration to me, because I've done that. Okay, and there was no way I was doing anything other than that. Okay. So I don't know when you have time to write, but it's working for you.
Well, thank you.
Do you
try to run into them?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're all in school. I homeschooled, so that was a little bit, they were all at home. But do you have time, like, when they go to school? Is that, like, your time? Yes.
Well, first of all, you're my hero for homeschooling. I have an education degree, and I always wanted to teach my kids, and they will have nothing to do with it. So they're all in school. But yeah, it's incredibly busy. You know that. Even just running them to appointments and making all of the meals and keeping the laundry clean. And yeah, my son isn't feeling well today, so talking back and forth with the school nurse and trying to decide if he needs to come home or not. There's just always something. But I carve out the first 3 hours after they leave in the morning. My husband takes them to school. We live in a small town, so it's only a couple of blocks away. It's all of an hour or a minute and a half commute. So my husband takes them, and then I write usually from 8 till 11 or 8 to 12 just for a couple of hours. And then my afternoon is reserved for all of the home stuff, the grocery shopping and the bathroom cleaning. And
it's funny because I only have 2 left at home, right? Okay. My youngest I homeschool, and then my Ian is 18, but he's in high school. I did a rotating homeschooling, kind of like whenever they needed it. It wasn't always all, I think at the most I had 4 or 5 at home, but it wasn't ever all 6 of them. But anyway, so I still go to the grocery store every day because I can't break the habit. I always went every day, and it's like some days I walk in and get $10 worth of things. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm like connected to that grocery store that I just can't give up my afternoon trip to the grocery store.
We are too. We do the same thing. Yes. And we only have 1 refrigerator. We really need 3. We go through so much milk. It's unbelievable. But
and my 4 boys were my bookends. Okay, so I had 2 boys, 2 girls, 2 boys. I can't even imagine if they would have all been teenagers together, like how much food and milk and cereal and, that stuff would have been. Yeah. But, laundry is a challenge too. I'm also used to doing laundry every day, even though so now I'm doing like half loads every day because I feel like there were days I did 2 loads. Now I'm only doing like a half a load.
Good for you.
But only people who have a lot of children understand, we understand what it's like to have to run that. That's why I was like, when you told me how many children you had, I was like, how is she, with all these books, I mean, for somebody who's not even a mom of young children, to write this many books in this many years would be very difficult. You must be very inspired. I mean, it must be a very hardcore 3 hours. Like, you get it done. Whatever you need to get done, you obviously get it done. Because, and having books out every year like this, you're rotating too. It's like, well, one's being written, another one's being edited, and another one's being released, and then another, like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 3-year process because I start conceptualizing my books. I'm already thinking about the next one I'm going to be writing. So I'll start Pinterest boards, and I'll make Spotify playlists so that I have songs that kind of get me in the mood for these characters and this atmosphere. This setting that I'm going to be dealing with. So I do that for the first year, and I take notes and stuff. And then the second year, I actually write it. It takes me, I can probably write a book, a full 90,000-page book in 2 months. But it's because I've spent so much time thinking about it, and I know what I want to say, and I know who these characters are so well that the story just kind of falls out. And then the final year is the publication process. So I turn it into my editor, and we do lots of edits, and they conceptualize a cover, and they put it through all the, publication steps of arts and whatnot. But yeah, it's 3 years from start to finish for a book. or at least for a book I write.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is you're always if you're, not writing one, you're editing one, or, or out there trying to, when it goes out, like this one's coming out tomorrow. So you're already, prepping for that.
Yes.
So, and did you have 2 books come out this month though? Or did I screw that up? Okay. I screwed that up. I was looking at the date because,
Oh, I know what you're thinking. I have a backlist title. It's called The Moment Between, and the rights to that book came back to me. So we have released it with Amazon as a Kindle Unlimited title.
Okay.
I don't even remember all of the letters that are assigned with it, but it's on Amazon, and right now it's a free download for Kindle Unlimited users, and it's $1.99. So we've been kind of pushing that one because, that's one of my titles that I deeply love, and we're excited to have the chance to share it with readers again in a different format. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that I read this one. I was like thinking I was reading that one. That's what the confusion was, because I was like, wait a second, did they come out this? How does she do that? How is that?
Yes.
So I looked on your website. I love your website, by the way. I go on
Thank
a lot,
you.
and you have a great website. And you live in Iowa right now, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever been to Iowa. I'm in Pennsylvania, and I don't think so. I've been to Idaho, and I've been to Illinois, and I just don't know that I got to Iowa. So it's kind of out there in the real Midwest. Are you getting any snow yet?
Say again?
Snow? Do you have any snow yet?
No, in fact, the weather has been beautiful. We've been in the 50s. So
we have too.
Yeah, we've been mowing our lawn yet and putting up Christmas lights. And my kids are excited for snow, but I'm okay if it hangs out for a while yet.
Too. Yeah, I am too. And we're having the same thing in Pennsylvania. And actually, the other day it went down to like 30, and I was like, wait, what are we doing here? And then it's like, it's November. Yeah. It should be 30, right?
Yes.
But you have a charity that you work with that I wanted to talk about. Yes. And it's called One Body, One Hope. Yeah, and I thought maybe you'd want to talk about it.
I would love to. You know what? I've been publishing for 10 years. This is my 10-year anniversary of publication. And in September, my first book came out in September of 2007. And in July of 2007, my husband and I started a nonprofit organization called One Body, One Hope. It wasn't something that we ever set out to do. It just kind of fell into our laps, and it's been a very organic process ever since. But our second child, his name is Judah, he was adopted from Ethiopia 11 years ago. And when we were in Ethiopia, we were in Addis Ababa, in the capital city, and we stayed in the guest house there. And the gentleman who had the room directly across from us was a Liberian man. And we became very, very good friends with him. And when we left, he said, I don't want this relationship to end. I want to continue communicating with you. And we felt the same way. So we did. And a couple of months later, he said, you really need to meet my brother. I have this brother. And after the Liberian Civil War, he walked along the streets of Monrovia, the capital city, and he took in children, whatever kids he could find that didn't have a home, whose parents had been killed or who had been displaced and were in different, maybe Sierra Leone or a different country. And he was caring for 35 of these kids. So we never really intended for a ministry to begin, but we met Emmanuel, his name is Emmanuel, and decided to partner with him. And it has snowballed from there. We've gone from 35 kids in the original children's home to 3 different children's homes, one in Monrovia, one near the airport in Liberia, and one in Foya County, which was the epicenter of the Ebola outbreak a couple of years ago. So our third children's home is for Ebola orphans. And we have a huge 160-acre commercial farm that we're working on. We just pulled our first rice harvest out of it in September. We're so excited about that. And we do community redevelopment and just a bunch of different things. So we really consider Liberia a second home.
That's awesome. Did you set out to adopt like that, or did it just it just kept happening and you were like, oh my God?
Yeah,
this is awesome.
It totally took us by surprise. In fact, we decided 5 years ago, I guess, that we were living in this big, beautiful home, and we just felt really convicted that we wanted to sell our house and downsize. We wanted to minimize and just travel light. That this life is fleeting, and we wanted to be able to travel to Liberia when we wanted to and give to people when we wanted to give. So we moved out of our big home into a house that was less than half the size. And as we were signing the deed, or the title, whatever it's called, my husband grabbed the pen out of my hand and he said, "We're done, right? Like, no more kids. We have 3. That's enough. We're done." Yes, honey, I promise. We're done. No more kids. Famous last words, right?
Right.
Yeah, so literally 2 weeks after that, I was in Liberia on a trip meeting with our friends, and there was a little girl who we had known for years. In fact, we have pictures of us holding her when she was a toddler. And she had swallowed battery acid a couple of years ago, and the implications of that injury were starting to manifest themselves in some really terrifying ways. And we thought that she was probably a terminal case, that she wasn't going to live much longer. So we tried to get a medical visa for her and were denied. And we discovered that the only viable option for us was adoption. And it was meant to be. So about 9 months after that, we took Eve home, and she's doing fantastic. She had 52 surgeries over the course of about 2 years. 52, yeah. But they were able to repair her esophagus and her stomach, and she's doing fantastic. And then we said we were done. No, we're done. No more. And it turns out that another young man that we've known for 10 years now, since the beginning of our ministry, he was diagnosed with a condition that needs care that he can't receive in Liberia. And once again, the door to adoption was the only viable option for him. And we brought him home 6 weeks ago. He's been with us for 6 weeks. He's amazing. This kid is a rock star. Like, we love him so much. And it's been a really seamless integration so far. So
that's awesome. I think, I did the same thing as I'm having children. That's it. That's it. But after I had my last one, which people would think, you have 6 children, you're absolutely insane. We almost adopted a little girl. It came very close, and then her parents had changed their mind. But I realized like that was there when presented it, but and then it never happened again. It never presented itself, so I let it go. But I could have easily, I didn't think so, because I was like, I'm 6, I'm done. And then all of a sudden this happens, and you're like, you stand up and you're like, yes, I can do that.
Yeah.
So, you just never know. But now I have almost 8 grandchildren, and,
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. But anyway, I'm just so thrilled that I got to meet you. I'm so thrilled that I got to read your book. It is so good, and I'm going to tell everybody's going to be finding out about this tomorrow, and I can't wait, because I hope you just keep telling me about your books, because you are an amazing writer. I don't know how to tell you, as I'm reading this, I'm like, I have never read a book like this, and I read a lot of books, but the way you build up the tension, it was so good. I love these people.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me.
Oh, I'm so happy. Can you hold up the book? I want to see the cover again, because I've been looking at it.
This is it.
Oh,
Wow.
Is that a great cover or what?
Isn't it beautiful? I know.
It really
I'm very grateful for the cover.
Yes.
You just never know what's going to happen with a book when it starts the whole publication journey. And this one has, it's been really exciting. And I really have no idea why, but it's been featured on 22 best of lists already. It's gotten amazing reviews that we're so grateful for, and people seem to be excited about it. So
that's how I found it too. It's like people are already talking about your book. I mean, how much fun is that before the release date to get that much hype about it?
It's awesome. It's really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it takes off, because I love this story. Like I said, I'm passionate about people, and I had a really interesting interview question a while back. Somebody asked me, what do you think is happening with the decline of the traditional family? And I had to think about that one for a long time, because to me, family isn't traditional. I don't think anybody has a traditional family, because we have all been affected by divorce and death and miscarriage and loss. And to me, my family is the people that I love. It has very little to do with blood.
Yeah.
And I think that comes out in little broken things.
Oh,
and
it really
that's
does.
the reason why I'm so passionate about this book, because I would love to see people build a bigger table, expand their horizons when it comes to their definition of what family is.
Yeah, and I think people are going to connect with different characters in this book. like I said, as a mom, I was connecting to her, you know, and her story.
Yeah.
And I even saw parts of my mom in her story, which, you know, because of that generation. But then there's another generation, and it, you know, I don't know. I feel like everybody's going to be able to connect with somebody in this book. So you do character very, very well. And I can't wait to see what happens with it. I really can't. I can't wait to see everybody. And then I can be like, I already read it. I already know. So I'm so sorry I screwed your name up at the beginning. I feel so bad. It's Nicole Baart. I was like, I've been so flustered because Nicole and I have been trying to work out Skype, and, you know, when we actually sat down and I had to take a deep breath and kind of...
Yeah. I'm a little technologically inept, so I'm
I am too.
Drama.
I know, and I'm just so happy that we figured it out and we're able to talk. So, you know, we'll let my son see what kind of editing he can do. It'll be a little challenge for him tonight. Who's going to have an easy night? Why give him an easy night?
Good.
Anyway, thank you so much, Nicole. You have a great day, and I can't wait to see the response you get tomorrow. It'll be very exciting tomorrow for you into the Thanksgiving holiday. So you have a great holiday.
I'm really grateful for this opportunity. It was fantastic to meet you, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.